Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the Weekly Comic Book Writer. We've covered this week's X-Men books and Star Wars books. Now it's on to the rest of this week's Marvel books, as well as this month's issue of Magic the Gathering. Kicking things off with Savage Avengers number 24. Where we had left off, while Conan and Doctor Strange were, putting Shumagorath out of its misery. Well, Kulan Goth made his move, and the city of Sickles. When Conan and Doctor Strange returned, they found the city of Sickles hovering over New York, and all of New York seemingly in the thrall of Kulan Goth. So the issue begins with a cloaked traveler finding an old sarcophagus and beginning to cut a date into the this sarcophagus. In the present, Conan and Doctor Strange are wondering what the hell has happened, while the priest of Sickles is just kind of like, hey, yeah, Kulan Goth's here. But Kulan Goth makes his appearance and basically and makes Strange and Conan an offer. Bend the knee to me be slowly annihilated for centuries. Ever so eloquently, Conan refuses, and well, Strange decides that Conan speaks for him in this matter, and he summons forth the X-Men and the Avengers, as well as Spider-Man. Of course, superpower brawl begins. Cat throws his trusty shield, which Kulan Goth catches and takes a bite out of. When She-Hulk goes to attack Goth, he fires I-beams through her chest. When Conan attacks him, Goth grabs Conan by the throat and is stopped by the appearance of additional heroes. Well, and Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom, Damon Hellstrom, Black Knight, Daredevil, Elektra, Wolverine, Dr. Voodoo, Magic, Black Widow, and Juggernaut. And apparently, the heroes fell. Hulk was trapped in Banner's body, chained by Wolverine's bones. Goth's minions spread across the globe, trying to find Doom and Conan. The Sickle Priest was promised full restoration when humanity was eradicated, but the Sickle Priest flung himself into great pleasure. Strange was tortured constantly. But the remains of Doom are brought before Strange, so Strange can see, hey, we beat Doctor Doom, only for Doom to rise and kill the minions of Kulan Goth rather savagely. After all, it's not Doom, but rather Conan, who explains that before Doom died in the Battle of Latveria, he enchanted his armor to put Conan beyond Goth's sight. He then cast what Latverians remained down to the Mole King. Well, Mole Man, presumably. He moves to save Strange, but Strange says, you can't rescue me, but you can avenge me. And he whispers how the fight can be won, and so Conan leaves. Goth is not pleased with this and asks Strange where Conan went. And Strange tells him to burn. And so, well, Goth takes that as a request for what to do to Steven, so he burns Doctor Strange to death. And we discover that the cloaked figure from the beginning is in fact Conan and Doom's armor for the most part. Wandering through a history museum. The date he carves into it being September 15th, 2043. And suddenly, Kang the Conqueror shows up. And asks why Conan is defiling a sarcophagus of Ramatut. And that is where the issue ends. Okay, alright. I've been of two minds on Savage Avengers lately because on the one hand it's fun as hell to read, but at the same time it really feels like it's been spinning its wheels. Just like, they can't get to that. It's like, we got to get to the big battle, but we can't because then we have to send Conan back, and yeah. But, okay, so now we've got Kang involved. I have to admit, so on the cover we have a little blurb at the bottom featuring the last page appearance of the most unexpected Marvel superstar of the month. Don't peek. I was not expecting it to be Kang. But up until, putting two and two together, like, why would you carve a date on a sarcophagus? Like, oh, time traveler, okay. And yeah. Of course, it's a Ramatut sarcophagus, and Ramatut was an identity of Kang the Conqueror. Moving on to our next book, we've got Extreme Carnage Toxin. Where we left off, symbiotes had attacked Alchemax, and Anti-Venom's ally had an ally who had infiltrated Senator Crane's group, and was clear that something is very wrong with the Senator. Aside from the fact that he's thrown in with the Friends of Humanity. So Bren, the current host of the Toxin symbiote, is riding through New York on his bike. Sees a guardsman flying in the sky, and then he hears the news about what happened at Alchemax. But as he tries to get Toxin to help him, Toxin seemingly isn't there. Because rather, Carnage wants to have a father-son chat with Toxin. They talk. Carnage largely insults Toxin. Toxin throws his own insults at Carnage. They fight. Psychically, kinda. Bren gets to Alchemax. Sees his dad pretty badly beat up. In Washington, Flash's security expert lets Flash know what's going on. But he's also pretty sure he's been made by the campaign knows he's a double agent for someone. When the doors keep closing in his face by the second. But someone is watching Hank. That someone being a symbiote known as Agony. So, in the Void, Toxin has defeated Carnage, and Bren is wanting to find out who hurt his dad. Toxin, him and Toxin talking, kind of explains what the quick version. But Toxin manages to get in touch with Anti-Venom and Silence. The three of them team up and head to DC to deal with whatever it is Carnage has in store for the president's big dedication ceremony. And that is where the issue ends. These Extreme Carnage one shot it's I have to admit it's a neat way to do an event. I mean, event. And with some of the big problem is just not having that much of a connection to the central character, the character that the one shot's based on. Like a lot of the Life Foundation symbiotes, I really don't care about. I just don't. I never read Lethal Protector, so Scream resonates because she has a unique look. But Phage, Lasher, Riot, meh, whatever. Toxin, I like the new Toxin. This is and Planet Symbiose was my first exposure to the new Toxin. I'd heard of Toxin previously, but yeah. But I do like I like Bren as the host. Anyway, moving on to our next book, and in fact our last Marvel book of the week, we've got Champions number 9. Where we'd left off, Nova and Spider-Man had infiltrated Roxxon's internship program to sabotage them from within. And they kind of had a big, spy heist thing planned, and part of the whole thing was sneaking Vision into the building, and she would figure out what's really going on. And she discovered the chaperone mechs, which are designed to nothing else, at least for starters, enforce what's referred to as Kamala's law. But Marion Blakemore, head of Roxxon, popped in before Viv could escape with the information. They're trying to figure out as they're trying to figure out ways to get it taken care of, Miss Marvel has the best one. She finds Marion Blakemore and accepts her offer of an internship. So she was kind of, she did kind of have a bit of a panic attack about everything, but she's willing to try. But they've got the champions have set up a much more secure means of messaging each other. There's a big Roxxon concert called Rocks On, and Rocks On Rocks. Yeah. But Kamala's supposed to speak at it. She's basically told, just do the speech as stated, as it's written. But the freelancers, Pyrite, Snicko, Neo Edge, Fizzle, and Not are hiding within the audience, ready to basically be the team, the bad guy teams everyone Roxxon wants to paint all teen heroes as. During the speech, however, Kamala goes off script completely, and Roxxon is locked out of all the mixer, so they can't cut her mic. The freelancers all get taken down, and the champions put out their own social media app, Champs Charge, fully secure and ad-free direct messaging and video chat. Well, not a social media app, but direct messaging and video chat. But the various the freelancers were taken down by the champions, including some that haven't been too active lately, including Braun. The Cradle troops show up, but a bunch of teenagers for making a human wall in front of Kamala. And they're basically told, and Cradle is basically, no, get out of here. We don't need footage of you taking aim at civilian teenagers. But Kamala's law gets overturned. Cradle is disbanded. The Chaperone robot project is also shelved, and Andre, its creator, is furious. There's a big party for all the teen heroes have a big party to celebrate their victory, and Viv and Ironheart. Viv works on trying to patch things up with Ironheart. Nova apologizes for throwing Kamala under the proverbial bus. But Andre Sims, creator of the Chaperone robots, decides that the Chaperone technology has too many applications to just be shelved because some random girl made a speech. And so he sends those Chaperone robots to go after the champions, just so everyone can see how well they work. Because then, hey, once they see how well they work, they have to keep, they have to keep making them, right? And that is where the issue ends. I had kind of forgotten that Champions was still going. I don't think we got an issue last month, or it's just that there was so much going on last month that we did, and it slipped my mind. But yeah, I don't think we got an issue last month of it. I'm pretty sure. But anyway, moving on to our last comic for the moment. We've got Magic the Gathering number 6. And as always, we got the Hidden Spark variant, which showcases a specific Planeswalker. This time, with issue 6, at least for the one I got, Planeswalker being shown off is Ashiok, who initially appeared in the Theros block, if I remember correctly, and has since appeared in Theros Beyond Death and War of the Spark. That's really it. Ashiok is a black-blue Planeswalker. So, where we left off, our three Guildmaster heroes had traveled to Dominaria to get information on an ancient god that was related to Dominaria. Teferi suggested they talk to Jaya Ballard. So the entire issue is Jaya telling her tale about this god, starting back during the Ice Age. For those unaware of Magic's story history, there was an Ice Age on Dominaria. The Ice Age I want to say that there's a full block are built around Ice Age, but at least a lot of the stuff that references the Ice Age stuff has a more, I don't really want to say Norse feel because Kaldheim is very like pretty much the Norse set, but it's still kind of at least kind of Scandinavian-ish. You've got names like the Kjeldoran, but turns out this mysterious god is named Marit Lage. And Jaya, at 16, before her spark manifested, granted, was going to be sacrificed for the cult. And the cult leader, at least the section of the cult, the portion of the cult that she was dealing with, was a man by the name of Balashzev, the brine shaman. 8 years later, after her she was at a Keldoran outpost, healing up from an injury when a horde of Balduvian barbarians laid siege to it. They brought barrels, and so she was going, barrels? I mean, should I smoke us out? Fire's kind of my thing. But no, it was seawater. The brine shaman who was there instructed his followers to drink the seawater and then turn them into monsters. As the Ice Age came to its close, Jaya, now definitively a planeswalker, now with her spark ignited, destroyed Zev's temple, turning it into molten slag. But they found each other. She found him. They talked, and Zeb claimed he was he was graceful in victory. The ice is melting after all, and his god Merit Lage will be freed then. And it's heavily implied Jaya kills him and then went after Merit Lage. So she finds Lage, and it's explained that Merit Lage came from somewhere else, beyond the blind eternities, casting psychic tendrils out across the multiverse, invading the minds of thinking beings. She desired where she was drawn to it, though her coming brought only madness and death. When she came to Dominaria, she was trapped, pinned beneath millions of tons of ice. All she did was reach out to her worshippers with her instincts, her wants to gain succor from their adulation. And she wanted to use, she wanted Jaya to melt the ice that was imprisoning her, free her from her slumber. But Jaya's not exactly one to, be commanded. So she attacked the frozen god and was drowned in Merit Lage's regard. Merit Lage woke, if only a little, and focused her terrible attention on Jaya. Jaya was made aware of her own place in the universe. And faced her own significance, if Jaya hadn't been a planeswalker, she hadn't been so aflame with power, she would have died. Her mind would shatter, her body would simply cease to live, and she would drift there in the dark blackness forever. But Jaya was a planeswalker, and she was aflame with power. And if her fire couldn't kill this god, then she would use her power to cast the entire glacier into the blind eternities and let that finish the job. And she thought that Merit Lage would be lost in the blind eternities forever, not outright killed. Well, Jaya was wrong. And apparently the abbot at the hospital is also a brine shaman. and she implores the Guild Pact either stop the cult of Merit Lodge before it truly gains a foothold, or just start digging graves. Now, one thing I will say, Merit Lodge seems like a bit of a Eldritch level, a deity level Eldritch horror. There are some other Eldritch horrors within magic cosmology. The Eldrazi, also from the Blind Eternities. Also, psychic beings, basically gods. Could Merit Lodge be a fourth Eldrazi Titan? Not saying she is, but it does seem at least possible. But that is where the issue ends. And man, I gotta say, Jed McKay keeps knocking out of the park with this book. I'm at seriously three books I've enjoyed immensely this year, all written by the same writer: Black Cat, Taskmaster, and Magic. Anyway, that's it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying live long and rock hard.